Is it live? Why did it take so long that time? It was actually loading a bit weird initially. Anyway, we're here. We're here to stream. Hey guys, it's been so long. Do you remember me? Oh my goodness. I think I've averaged like on my solo streams at least. I think it's been 2 weeks, you know, since there was such a long break between my solo one and the Kyle one. Let's have a look. There's notification. How exciting. So yeah, you know, 2 weeks ago, what did we talk about? I think I said the shortest stream I've ever done, no plans, no goals. I think it might have actually been one of the shorter ones. I don't know if I've ever done like a sub 1 hour stream. Maybe I have. Maybe today will be the one. But anyway, that was the last one. And then we had Kyle Entertainment come in person. There he is in the video. We streamed 3 times. And here I am streaming once more. And I hope it's working. Let's see. In the video, we That's me. 3 times. And God, the audio sounds so good. I'm just so used to the bad audio from the in-person recorded content that we're going to talk about a little bit here. Anyway, what do we do these days? We go through Twitter, right? It's the first thing. An easy thing. Also, no plan for this stream. I hope people actually show up so you can like provide me with content because I have nothing to talk about. But if no one shows up, I'll have to think of something. Oh god, there's been a lot, right? Okay, my Adobe thing. We definitely talked about that last time. The Cowboy Bebop thing, the Usa artwork. Okay, so we had a few videos that I want to go over. Kyle Entertainment is here in the chat saying late. Yeah, so true. Except you're the one who's late this time. How ironic. Jarky Bacon is here saying shill my memberships. Don't worry, it's on my list of stuff to talk about on this stream, which is on my left monitor. So don't worry, we're going to talk about that briefly, I guess. And Heath is here dabbing, which we're going to have stuff to talk about Heath, I guess, as well. Anyway, there was a Nosferatu discussion. That was a movie. I would try and hide my rating, but there's no point. You can just watch this if you want. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. Not quite a Lighthouse, you know, which is probably my top like 4 movies of all time, but it was still really fun, really good. This cool, I don't know what you call this art style. Like, is it a sketch, rough sketch? I have no idea. It looks cool. I like this. This is a cool art style. So much so that I retweeted both sisters here, Tatsumaki and Fubuki. It's really great. There was a prequels discussion. You know, I watched all the Star Wars prequels since the last time I solo streamed. What else? Oh, look, another one. The 2 sisters together now. There was a challenges discussion. So much, you know, we so many discussions recorded last weekend. It's crazy. Puni Baba is here. Hello. Hey, Puni Baba. I consumed a few things that I can't talk about. I guess I can, because you've probably seen all these. And I have a digest that has to come out. But the only new thing in the digest will be Squid Game, which I should have had a review out by now. But, yeah, I just life, you know, my goodness. So anyway, yeah, Star Wars was done. Prequels are done. I watched all the Garden of Sinners. Watched Challenges, Nosferatu, and I watched the short yesterday, Drawn to You, animated short film, which I can't talk about. You know, I'll talk about at the end of this month, or maybe beginning of next month. Anything else? And Bacon did his membership stuff, which we'll talk about. And that's Bacon. In case you don't know what Bacon looks like. Membership. There you go. It looks very serious here, you know, he's staring into my soul. Anyway, firstly, just before we get off the Kyle stuff when he was here, there's a few things I want to just talk about briefly. And if I don't know if anyone will actually care about this enough to interact with me here, but I would like feedback if anyone is willing to give it. Because there was a few things. Firstly, I learned a lot about like recording a video with especially multiple people. It was very difficult to set up. Like the setup involved having a camera in the kitchen, right? And we were recording on a kitchen bench, if you can believe it or not. It kind of looks like a table, I guess. But yeah, we recorded on a kitchen bench. And the kitchen is obviously nowhere near my computer. So we had a giant, like 12-meter long HDMI cable that was connecting the camera to my computer. And we had these wireless mics that were like clipped on us. And there was like lighting, and the lighting was very tough to set up. And it looks terrible in some of them. But in some of them, I think it looks really good. But that's basically what I wanted to talk about briefly. There's like 3 different setups here. Well, yeah, that's me. Crazy. Well, hello. That's also me. And I say the same thing every time I start a video. Isn't that crazy? I mean, there's also Nosferatu, which is just black and white. Well, isn't this one? Well, and this one. Okay. So, firstly, this was the first thing we recorded, I think, was the Star Wars discussion. And this is the general format, okay? Nice 2 people, you know, sitting at a table. You got your laptops, blue background, whatever. I think this looks okay. I think the green looks a lot worse, mainly because of this light being overblown or whatever, but I think it's passable. The big thing I did with this, and I am curious to see what people think, which I know no one's going to actually give me feedback, so I don't know why I'm asking, but the audio here is processed through an Adobe podcast. Like, it makes the audio sound better, which I don't know if it works in this format, but listen to this.
I was historian. All right, I got 17 other notes here, Leary. Engaging, like than the original trilogy. I was constantly watching the original trilogy. I was like,
so it definitely sounds weird, right? Now the one thing is that you need to compare it to like if we don't use that, which
this just.
I think for this one I didn't use anything.
I mean, for me, my confusion doesn't even really have to do with the out of order stuff either. It's particularly the use of symbolism or whatever.
So I don't know. I think this might even sound better. I don't know. Who knows? The mics, they sounded surprisingly good is my takeaway. But I was still trying to mess with stuff. My big question is more so, for a discussion format like this, what is a better, like what looks better visually? I know this one's a bit too dark to like compare. But there's something like this, which is, you know, two people sitting across a table, talking to each other. That's the general like format of the visuals, right? And then there's just like this other one, which is like two people. They're kind of looking at each other. Most of the time they're looking down at their laptops, but sometimes they look at the camera. It's kind of like a different kind of setup. I think of these two, I probably do prefer this one. I don't know. I don't know if anyone has thoughts on this. The Garden of Sinners lighting is so much better. Yeah, that is true. And I think this is purely because this was the last one that I edited. And I put a bit more effort into the color correction after the fact. Like I looked a bit more into how to actually do color correction in Premiere and stuff, and I think it looks a lot better in that regard. If you look at the raw file for this, it looks very similar to the challenges one. I guess this one is also very heavily like corrected because it looked really bad in the actual like raw recording or whatever. I think this one is the only one that I didn't really touch up that much. But this looked pretty bad, but I think I salvaged it a little bit. I think I do agree with you that I think this lighting looks the best. And then obviously the Nosferatu one's pretty straightforward. I like this one, how it looks, but it's just black and white with like dramatic lighting. We had like a light sitting on the table or whatever. But I think it fits the vibe. Anyway, what if you wanted to enjoy your night, but Telstra said MBN outage in your area? I'd be so sad, okay? I would not enjoy my night. There would be nothing to do. I don't even know what I would do. Maybe I'd work on an actual script for once and get a scripted video out. Mic sounded good. The lighting on both is interesting for each one, and I quite like the lighting for both. Okay, well, very cool. We love that. I don't know if there's anything more to say, really. As for audio, I have a really cheap PC speaker, so I can't tell much. You know what? That's good. That's good. At least you don't have complaints, you know? I would have been sad. I'd be like, oh, even on a cheap PC speaker, it sounds bad. Or, but anyway. That's that, I think. I don't think do I have anything else to say? Oh, another thing is that I think almost certainly if I ever do this again, like I don't know if I ever will, but if I do this again, if Kyle comes back or someone else visits or whatever, I absolutely want to do a multi-camera thing. I think it looks way better. Just as whenever you look at podcasts and stuff, when you got like two people, like one is like the go-to example would be like the Red Letter Media stuff, which I've been watching recently. I think it looks really cool. Now, are they gonna, what's like one where they do it? I watched like there's like some top horror movies. Yeah, this thing. They do it here. Yeah, where it's like two people, right? You got this camera, then you got the wide view where you're seeing both, then you got like the one where you're just cutting to the other person. I don't think you need the wide one, but you can have like two cutting people like this. I like it a lot. If I would want to do it, even if it's like completely unnecessary, I would want to do it for the fun of it, and I think it would look really cool. But next time I do something like that, I think I'm gonna try that. So yeah. What's with the vignetting on the challenges video? It was because, it was a practical reason. There was like, well, I don't actually remember, but it was like to cover, not to cover something up, but like to make it look better. And not because of like some stylistic, oh, the vignetting looks really good or anything, but it's like, there was something that looked really bad if you didn't mask away the edges. And I just don't remember what that was. Like maybe just, I think the bottom bit maybe looks slightly awkward, like the way we were sitting or something. I don't know. This is also a weird aspect ratio. This was more of a stylistic thing. I was like, oh, you know, aspect ratio, we can like mess with it. I've never done that before. It could be fun. But the vignetting was, yeah, for, I don't know why, but there was a reason for it. I think if you could do a 3/4 angle, that would be best, but face towards us is nicer. I don't even know what a 3/4 angle is. Or 3/4 angle? Maybe like we're turning, like midway or something? I have no idea. I don't know anything about filmmaking, okay? However, understand it's hard to talk to someone when you're next to them, but not looking. That is true. The front on kind of gives me strong... Oh boy, who is this? Yasujiro Ozu vibes. Interesting. Okay. I've never watched... I assume this is a filmmaker or something. I've never watched a Yasujiro Ozu film, but that's... I'm sure that's a high compliment. Yeah, so thank you, you know, yeah. Anyway. Not sure in a good or bad way. I'll take it as a compliment. Audio sounds better than my podcast for sure. Is that even true? Maybe the latest podcast. I don't actually remember. How did you record the audio for those? Where is that? Oh, you had actual dynamic microphones or whatever?
Sex and then he didn't die. But then
I mean, this
he
sounds
died,
good.
And then he goes up to the...
Hey, this is a good film. Everyone must say you are right.
I mean, this sounds good. Wait. I don't know, some
should-
sections.
being like, if they've got money,
No, I think this sounds better. Yeah. Anyway. The Bridges podcast is 3/4, 3 out of 3/4. That's what they mean. All right, let's see. I'm trying to picture it because they've changed this a lot.
What?
Yeah, sure. I think I see what you mean. True. This is the future, guys. This is what we're going to do. The great Dr. K that I don't like, okay? Anyway. Ozu would always make the character stare straight into the camera and talk, which is what you're generally not supposed to do, but he always did it. That's pretty cool. I should watch a movie of his. I'll do it. I'll add it to my long, long list. How's my list going these days? You know, there's so many... Oh, God. You know what? Let's... I'm going to get through this list, okay? Not this one. Okay, this is the long list. I'm going to get through the personal radar. I'm going to do it soon. Wicked is going to happen any day now. As well as The Witch as well. I'm probably going to watch The Witch. If you have patience, watch Tokyo Story, top 10 movie. How much patience we talking? 2 hours? I have 2 hours of patience. Unless you mean like it's really slow, which I also have patience for that. Okay. One of my favorite movies, which was recommended by, what's the YouTube name? Lenny something, I think, on YouTube, is Yee Yee. And that was pretty slow, but I loved it. That was fantastic. Anyway, Tokyo Story. I'll keep it in mind. Oh yeah, we have to watch a Megan 2 trailer. I saw this when I opened Chrome today to get ready for streaming. So I watched Megan 1. I think it was fine. It was like a bit dumb at points, I think, but it was like somewhat engaging. I probably gave it, if I were to guess, maybe a 3. I don't know. But let's see, Megan 2, how exciting. Oh, I love this song. Oh my god. It's Feminine Nomenon.
Hit it low. Get it hot. Make a bitch.
Okay, they're playing up the dance meme thing.
Hit it low. Get it hot. Make a bitch.
Miss me?
Is this a game? What is this? Firstly, June 27th, that's really soon. Secondly, did she look like this? Am I crazy? This looks like nothing like the Megan I remember. Or is this a video game or something? Or did she just look like this and I just completely forgot? I don't, that's kind of crazy. Okay. I don't know. I'm guessing this isn't footage from the movie. I don't know. Am I going to watch this? Probably. I don't know. You know, AI is just so important in our society, I should probably consume all the AI stuff, right? What did Tyron Magnus say? Oh my god.
Megan 2.0.
Real. Now this is a reaction, guys. This is how I should react, okay?
I forgot how she
Okay.
did that. Megan was a good movie.
True. Where's the reaction?
Hit it like, get it hot, make a bitch. It's a
There's the dance.
hit it like,
There it is.
Miss me?
That was so weird. That face.
What's he gonna say? That face what? Does it look
That
weird?
face was more CGI.
Oh, he's a genius. Oh my god.
Right. That looked. That face actually looked more fake.
Oh, he's so smart. That's exactly my reaction. I guess that's what they're going for. Anyway, I think it'd be really cool if they made a movie like what's it called? Under the Skin, was it? I think. In fairness, I haven't finished this movie. But I have watched most of this, and then I think I fell asleep like toward the end, but I just never finished it because my rental period expired for when I rented it on Amazon Prime. But this was a cool horror movie, or like a thriller, or I don't know what you consider it, a suspense movie, where it's basically this alien who's like in human skin, I think, and she goes and I think seduces a bunch of men from memory. And there's no real driving narrative or anything. They all feel very disconnected. There's no overarching, like it all leads to something, at least from what I saw so far. But it looked really cool. It had a bunch of abstract visuals in a black space, like for instance this. It was really interesting. A unique kind of movie. I think it'd be really cool to kind of have this type of visual, but stretch it out into a whole movie. I don't know how you would do that. But in an under the skin kind of style, make a movie like that would be really cool. Like a dancing robot that is like always marching forward or something. I think it's like a cool concept. Like I like the visuals of this trailer basically. And I think it would be cool if they just didn't actually have a plot, to the movie and just make it cool like this. Anyway. Don't we just love experimental movies? Not that I've ever seen an experimental movie, but it is what it is. Okay, that's out of the way. What else is there? We can close this. We have bacon, but is there anything else? Let's see. There's some more topics, very brief. One is what I think Puni Baba and maybe multiple other people, Heath maybe, I don't remember, mentioned last time, which is the DeepSeek stuff. So ever since last week I streamed, or since I last streamed last week, I've heard a lot about this, including like at work and stuff. People really care about this. I watched also today my favorite podcaster, Lex Friedman. He's not actually my favorite. Okay, that was sarcastic, but I do like the Lex Friedman podcast, and I listened to this 5-hour podcast today. Okay, after work, I watched it on 2x speed, which was kind of interesting. But yep, there's a lot of crazy stuff about DeepSeek. Oh my god, it's like an AI, but it's like someone in China made it, so it's like, or like a big company in China made it, so it's different. I don't know. I don't quite know. I guess like the efficiency, there's like a few novelties, or a lot of novelties I guess they made about like reinforcement learning, and I don't know, it looks cool, but kind of crazy how much of an impact it had. I think it probably, I feel like the impact is a bit overblown, but I guess we'll see how things shape out. The only other topic I really have to briefly talk about is I watched this H3 Productions is I think what the channel is actually on. This thing. Content Nuke Hassan Piker. So this has been something that Ethan Klein, because I'm a big H3 podcast guy, he's been teasing this for what feels like months, but probably weeks, I would guess, that he's been working on a video where he's going to take down Hassan Piker, who was his former co-host on the Leftovers podcast. And he kept saying, this is the greatest video I've ever made. I've never made a H3 Productions video as good as this. And he was building it up. And I was very nervous watching, going to start watching this, because I was like, there's no way this is going to be well made. Can Ethan even do scripted content anymore? He's just funny when it's unscripted. It's not going to work. It can't be good. So I was very hesitant to watch this, and I took, like, I didn't watch it, I don't think, the day it came out. And I even talked to Bacon, Jockey Bacon, about his thoughts on this before I watched it, because I was like, oh, I'm curious. Bacon watched the whole thing, and I was like, oh, what's he think about it? But anyway, I watched this. I knew every single thing that he said. There was not a single thing that surprised me. But it was well packaged. It was funny. Ethan is actually still funny in scripted format. Not consistently, but like every now and then I was actually laughing, so it was actually funny. And it kept me engaged for almost 2 hours, so I guess it's a good video. And I guess any video that is trying to take down Hassan has my blessing, because, you know, I'm not a big fan of Hassan, so this is great. So go watch this if you haven't, basically. Not that it's, like, the most compelling arguments. I mean, it's fine. Like, I think that the arguments are serviceable. There's stuff, obviously, I don't agree with. Like, I'm a bit more skeptical about blaming Twitch for the ban of Israel or whatever, because I think you could still sign up at some point, and it was there was like a lot of misinformation about that. I think I talked about this on stream when it happened. I don't know, there's small stuff like that bothers me, but generally, you know, for an hour and 40 minutes, it was like stuff like this, like who cares about this? Like, I don't know, but generally it was pretty okay. I enjoyed watching it. Anyway, that's every topic except for this one, which Jockey Bacon, which I was just talking about. Isn't that crazy about his thoughts on the H3 Hassan nuke? Bacon has started channel memberships, which is cool. And he put this video up where he's explaining why he's doing it, which I think, like, I understand Bacon's perspective here. Personally, I have no interest. Like, obviously, I started channel memberships, and I did not justify my reasoning at all whatsoever. Bacon seems to care in this video about the morality of it and stuff, and he's trying to be very nice to all the people and be like, I already make money, you don't have to donate to me. I don't know, like, he obviously cares about this stuff. I don't care about it. But this was it was a fine video. Not that I would, there's no real reason to critique this, you know, it's not like a scripted video essay or anything, it's just promoting his memberships, but it was fun. Yeah, if you want to be a member, go sign up, you know, like me. Look at this. Thank you to my members, Elite RE. I am the only member, at least at the time of editing this video, I suppose. I don't know if there's any more now. I don't know how you make these things public, but pretty cool. Now, the real question is, will Bacon get more members than me? I think I currently have, well, because of recent events, you know, last stream where I think people gifted memberships, and I think Puni Baba accidentally gifted himself a membership. I have a few members now, but I think typically I have like 5 members. So I wonder if Bacon will get more than that. Probably, right? He has a more active, at least the Vinland Saga community really loves Bacon. I guess recently the Arcane community really loves Bacon. So I feel like he could get way more than me. I wouldn't be surprised if he had like, I don't know, like 10 members or something just from one video. Or if he tweeted it out, I can imagine a lot of Twitter people maybe doing it or becoming a member. Bacon, why did you make an apology video for the thumbnail? So, well, this video is basically an apology. He opens it up and he's talking about how, like, guys, I'm not struggling. I don't need the money. I have an income. You don't have to pay me. It's like he's feeling bad about it, you know, but he does it anyway. We love that. We love memberships. So go watch this, I guess, if you're interested in becoming a Jockey Bacon member. But with that, that is all the topics for today. We don't have a single thing. We can go through the playlist, but I don't think there's much. There's literally nothing. Megan 2.0, which we just watched. I don't know why this is here. Maybe I added it to the wrong playlist. 1 Atheist vs 25 Christians, featuring Alex O'Connor. I watched like 2 minutes of this, and then I realized I don't care enough about religion to watch this. And then randomly I got recommended, one of the participants he made like a response video and is like, I was scammed or something. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. And I think I watched more of that than the original video. That was certainly a thing. I think we've seen all this, right? So now we just have to pick a random video here. We've been on Star Wars lately, but I think we watched The Problem with Dave Filoni, didn't we? Death of the action genre sounds boring. I'm sure there's something good here, right? We could watch a Zahir, Why Kill the Avatar, a video essay. That could be fun. Do you want to do more AI art things? Are we going to go back to that? A 9-month-old video on AI art? I'm sure that could be great. No, I think we did watch this, actually. There's so many things. Avatar, Free Ren. I almost picked up Free Ren again today. What do you think of the animation from the clip I last retweeted? Let's have a look. No, wait. Why is my internet so slow today? Oh my goodness. It took so long to open it. So is this CG? What is this? I mean, I think the animation looks good. I don't like the directing or whatever. Like the positioning of the camera and everything. But animation looks cool. Looks really good. I assume this is from some... Actually, I have no idea. I was going to assume this is from an anime, but maybe it's just like a fan thing. I have no idea. I just realized there's also music. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but I mean, cool. Let's see. I never knew it was possible to express such beauty, grace, and lightness in anime. Really? I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of beauty, grace, and lightness in anime. What is this? So fill us in, Heath. What is this anime? What do you think about this animation? I assume you like it because you retweeted it. Now Kyle is sending videos. Oh boy. You gotta watch that Red Letter Media critique video. Yeah, maybe. Did you read Heath's Kara no Kyokai comment, or did you just ignore him? I believe you should know the answer to that, right? But so I watched Garden of Sinners, guys, and there's a video on this channel about it. When I say I watched it, I mean I watched the first 4 movies. And Heath left a great comment where he explained his perspective, and he corrected one of my greatest misunderstandings, which is, this is actually a really cool thing he said. Like Ari thinking it was all conceptual, that's fine, I don't care about that. And then thinking Kokuto was visiting the bedridden lady when she was just jealous of seeing him walk past her room every day to give flowers to Shiki. Now this clarifies a lot. Yeah, because in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, he just like gives flowers to everyone in that hospital. But no, this makes a lot more sense. Anyway, there's like a few things here. I understood Heath's perspective, why he likes these things. And I said, very interesting, thanks. So I did see this. And I think I thumbs it up. Or maybe that was someone else, I don't know. But yep. Cool. This is the best airing show right now. Oh my goodness. Okay. Something about ice skating? That's crazy. It's like Yuri on Ice, right? I haven't seen that, but it's Mappa, so one day I'll have to watch it because I just love that studio so much. So how much Sex Pest Destiny have you been watching, Elite Ari? His streams have been boring, okay? I watched him react to the Hassan thing. I think I probably watched the whole reaction to that. But then he's just been talking about boring politics, US politics that I don't care about. So I guess not much. I don't know. When's he going to have debates? That's what I want. He should debate someone. That'll be great. Who knew that this was in the same universe as Fate? Yeah, I don't know if I believe that, but I mean, Heath would know, and he did write that in the comment, but I feel like if anything, it would have to be a loose connection, right? But I don't know. I don't know anything about Fate. The only thing I know about Fate is that... Oh, what was the name? Keijo made a reference to Fate in like the final arc where the character did something with their hand and like a bunch of like butts like showed up, and it was like, oh, that's a Fate reference, guys. It's like the only thing I know about Fate. And I guess I watched the first episode of Fate Zero a long time ago, and it had something to do with history or religion or something. I don't know. Oh, so you don't care about what Heath liked about it? I see. I literally said that I find that interesting. It was good. It was enlightening to find out what he liked about it.
Instinct.
Anyway, Dave Filoni. Now, this is funny because Kyle has no plan of like watching any of these shows or anything like that. So he is missing out on an entire like maybe like 60% of Star Wars discourse, which is all about this one man, Dave Filoni. And Kyle's just not going to have any context for it, which is really funny. But anyway, before we get to that, AI is changing war, just not with killer robots. Why did you recommend this? Why? What is this? This sounds like the most boring video of all time. Technology changes war. Isn't that crazy, guys? My goodness. You know, I'm sure it's interesting. I don't know why I'm so negative on this. I'm sure it's great. But it sounds pretty boring. Let's watch a little bit about Dave Filoni. Unless we've already seen this. There is a chance I've already watched this video.
Filoni for the 3 or 4. Dave Filoni for the 3 or 4 of you who don't know.
Okay, this feels very familiar. Is this the one where he like spends the first bit talking about not Dave Filoni or something?
Is the man responsible for the critically acclaimed Star Wars: The Clone Wars, as well as Star Wars Rebels and, of course, The Mandalorian, along with Jon Favreau. He and Favreau have also
And
been
let's not forget Ahsoka.
working on the Book of Boba Fett, which at the time that I'm writing this is still producing episodes of its first season. Now, I started my second channel to focus more on the lore aspect of the Star Wars.
Okay, I feel like I'm like 95% sure I have seen this. But if I haven't, it's going to be so good. So I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't watch this. My goodness. Maybe we should watch the Zahir, Why Kill the Avatar video essay. This one's more interesting. It's shorter as well. It could be great. So if you don't know anything about Avatar, now's your chance to leave, I guess. Elite, are you trying to bait me into watching the shitty Clone Wars? Not going to work, bucko. True. I don't think you would even like that show. There's no point in watching it.
Is a lie, told by a fearful body, hoping to be wrong.
Now, Avatar The Last Airbender, and especially The Legend of Korra, I think this is right down Kyle's alley. He would definitely like this show.
What's that supposed to mean? It means that when you base
Your expectations only on what you see, you blind yourself to the possibilities of a new reality.
expectations only on what you see, you blind yourself to the possibilities of a new reality.
When Mike
I'm a big Korra fan, okay? My cat is named Korra. That's my favorite fun fact about myself.
Brian set out to write The Legend of Korra, they did so with the clear intent to create their antagonists with some sort of justification or bigger idea that would cause us, the audience, to stop and ask, are they the good guys? While the final villain of The Last Airbender was Fire Lord Ozai, a tyrannical megalomaniac with few, if any, redeeming qualities, the antagonists of Legend of Korra offer a lot more for the viewer to consider. One of the clearest examples of this was the antagonist of the 3rd season, Zahir. When we finally learn that the true intent of the Red Lotus is to kill Korra and end the Avatar cycle, Zahir proclaims boldly that
This band of brothers and sisters in anarchy are witnessing the beginning of an era of true freedom.
It's here that Zahir describes himself as an anarchist. To define the term extremely broadly, anarchism is a philosophy that heavily emphasizes individual freedom and is heavily skeptical of the justification of authority, especially those with political power. Anarchists often doubt whether we should even have a state or a government. In line with these anarchist beliefs, he explains to Korra that
True freedom can only be achieved when oppressive governments are torn down.
But this statement is a bit of an odd one. If Zahir's anarchist beliefs were only concerned with, quote, oppressive governments, then that leaves us with one puzzling question. Why kill the Avatar? After all, the Avatar is not a dictatorial tyrant oppressing people, right? Well, to answer this question, we need to understand 2 principles of Zahir's anarchist philosophy. The Red Lotus dreams of a world without what I am going to call for this essay, institutions of authority. It's easy to understand why Zahir would oppose monarchies. There are many people who oppose them on principle today. They're inherently unaccountable to their citizens and are historically prone to abuses of power that restrict the freedoms of their people. Zahir rightly says,
You think freedom is something that you can give or take on a whim, but to your people, freedom is just as essential as air.
But Zahir doesn't just oppose oppressive regimes like the Earth Queens, he is equally opposed to having a Fire Lord or a Water Tribe Chief. Both of these are institutions of authority that are unaccountable to their citizens. The fact that Fire Lord Zuko or Chief Tonrak are...
God, I'm just so curious. Why did he want to kill the Avatar? Do I remember? I feel like he stated this explicitly. I just don't remember the details enough. But I guess it is just like the Avatar is the ultimate authority. Like it has the power, people respect it. It's like a symbol of power. I don't know.
benevolent does not matter to the Red Lotus. Zahir reminds Korra that
It wasn't too long ago.
But they did try to like steal her as a kid, right? Like weren't they going to use her? Or were they going to kill her? I don't remember.
That the airbenders were nearly all wiped out, thanks to the Fire Lord's desire for world dominance.
You see, Zahir is acutely aware of the potential of these institutions to restrict the freedoms of others in the future, and it is that potential that justifies their elimination in his mind. Foremost, the first principle of Zahir's philosophy is this. If a person is under constant potential threat of the loss of their freedom, they are not truly free. But this explanation still doesn't offer an answer as to why the Red Lotus wants to end the Avatar cycle. The Avatar by nature is not a form of hereditary power like that of a monarch, and every single Avatar is different. So where does Zahir's issue lie? After I watched through season 3 once more, I realised that Zahir is concerned with alleviating a far more subtle kind of oppression than, say, Amon or Kuvira were, where those who are oppressed may not even realise that they are oppressed. In fact, they may willingly reinforce the institutions of authority that oppress them and those they love. This is never clearer than in Yin, Marco and Bolin's grandmother. Despite living impoverished in the lower ring of Ba Sing Se and being disadvantaged by the Earth Queen's over-extravagance and dictatorial rule, she scolds those who dare criticise Her Majesty.
Don't talk like that about Her Majesty. Long may she reign.
This respect and reverence for the Earth Queen is so deeply instilled in her that when her house is burning down, the one thing she takes with her is her photo of the Earth Queen. Now remember what Zahir wants, a world
where man's only allegiance is to himself and those he loves.
This is Zahir's ultimate belief. A person can never be free in a society and culture that teaches them that they owe their allegiance to institutions of authority without ever questioning why they deserve their allegiance. That teaches them they should obey, revere, or respect the authority of institutions like the Earth Queen. How can they be free when A, they are forced to abide by laws dictated to them by others, and B, the only reason they accept this is because they are indoctrinated into cultures that make them believe it is okay. That makes them believe they owe their allegiance to this institution and should respect its authority. When Zahir tells the Earth Queen before he kills her that
I don't believe in queens,
he is making a point. The only reason these institutions have political and social authority is because people are indoctrinated into believing they should have it. This same sort of reverence can be seen in regards to the Fire Lord when Bolin cries,
Oh my gosh, it's Lord Zuko! I can't believe it!
Even Korra cannot escape her biases when she admits,
don't you think the world would be better off if leaders like them were eliminated?
No. I mean, I don't really agree with what they've done, but taking out world leaders isn't the answer.
And Boomy half-heartedly says,
well, technically, the Earth Queen has a right to conscript her citizens.
Now, while an offhanded remark, it does reflect how deeply ingrained these institutions of authority are into society. On some level, each of them believe that these institutions are justified, when in reality, their power is entirely without basis. These people are not naturally better leaders. Bolin, Boomy, Korra, and everyone else have just grown up in a culture that reinforces these institutions by teaching people that they owe them their allegiance. This is the second principle of Zahir's philosophy. A person is not free if they are indoctrinated by their culture into believing institutions of authority should have authority over them. It is in the vein of this second principle that Zahir sees the Avatar as the ultimate institution of authority that needs to be eliminated. By Korra's time, the Avatar has approval ratings in Republic City. She holds press conferences like that of a politician. Korra automatically has access to the Republic City Council and other world leaders, and is often treated as above the law purely by virtue of being born the Avatar. Zahir points out the expanded political power of the Avatar as well.
We are what the White Lotus was meant to be. But after the 100-Year War, the White Lotus lost its true purpose. Its members came out of hiding and openly served the Avatar. They became nothing but glorified bodyguards.
The White Lotus was at least originally partially intended to make the Avatar accountable to someone, where no single nation could. But the Avatar is now the head of it, the head of an international organization with the capabilities to interfere with individuals on a world.
Alright, I haven't got a single thing to say about this video. I don't know, it feels very straightforward. Zahir doesn't like... I mean, he wants freedom, you know, there's like institutions and stuff, they just inherently believe in it, and the Avatar is kind of entrenched in that. What could he say for 7 more minutes? I'm curious. Did you like my Raid Shadow Better Honey joke? I did. But I thought it was also risky. I'm like, oh my god, what if people think he's actually sponsored by these people and then they get mad at him? But yeah, that is the only thing to comment on, true. Right.
Worldwide scale, and the culture teaches people to think that she deserves this power. Zahir wishes for a world where a man's allegiance is only to himself and those he loves. But this same toxic culture of reverence and allegiance that surrounds monarchs can also be seen in regards to the Avatar. The sages were a group in the Fire Nation.
In the past, the sages were loyal only to the Avatar.
Being something of a priesthood, their loyalty to the Avatar is akin to a pseudo-religious following. They even bow before him. Suyin, Beifong's son, Wing, even comments that it's an honor to be dueling with the Avatar.
I can't believe I'm sparring with the Avatar.
Likewise, in Aang's travels, he was often revered and given special privileges.
This is funny. This video is basically taking a bunch of jokes and then, like, treating them seriously. Which is, like, a valid thing to do. It's just funny. Because every clip you're showing is, like, a comedic one.
Purely because he was the Avatar. In the final episode of the season, Tenzin says that
the world getting more and more dangerous. We need the Avatar now more than ever.
And this sentiment is echoed by numerous characters all throughout the series. It creates this sense of authority in the Avatar for bringing the world to balance that both Korra and all of those around her buy into. This was never clearer than in the online comic series, where Kyoshi tells us about the peasant uprising in Ba Sing Se, where she admonished the Earth King for defying the Avatar. Kyoshi expected the Earth King to obey her, and Zahir sees this kind of entitlement as a problem. Most importantly, the Red Lotus realized
I'm so curious. Is there a chance that this person hasn't seen Avatar? Because why would you pronounce Kyoshi as Kyoshi? Is there a chance? Is there a chance is like just a narrator for a script or something? No way, right? Or is that like just another way of pronouncing Kyoshi? I don't know.
Kind of entitlement.
Or do they say Kyoshi in the show and I'm just crazy?
It's a problem. Most importantly, the Red Lotus realized a long time ago that
You made the world this way, we're just living in it.
of any institution of authority, the world has been undeniably shaped more by the consequences of the Avatar's actions. Who should be protected and who should be punished has often been determined by them and them alone. Just as even democratic states like Republic City dictate where people can go and live with borders and regulations, Zahir points that it was wrong for the Avatar to determine whether or not people were allowed to go into the spirit world.
The idea of having nations and governance is as foolish as keeping the human and spirit realms separate.
So back to our original question, why kill the Avatar? Fundamentally, the Avatar has become no different to the Fire Lord, the Water Tribe Chief, the President of Republic City, or the Earth Queen. The Avatar is an unaccountable institution of authority with almost limitless power. Zahir even says as much in the 4th season.
But my powers have limits.
You're wrong. That poison should have killed you, but you were able to fight it off. You think your power has limits. I say it's limitless.
If the potential danger of a tyrannical Fire Lord is enough to justify their removal, then in Zahir's philosophy, the potential danger of a tyrannical Avatar is tenfold. Korra fits the criteria. Firstly, people are forced to abide by the Avatar's moral standards, a person they did not choose to be in authority. And secondly, they are indoctrinated by their culture into revering the Avatar and believing they should have this authority over them. With these two principles, Zahir aims to free people from an oppression they do not even realize they are under: the Avatar. The Red Lotus sees past the mythicism surrounding the Avatar, and merely because Korra can bend all 4 elements does not mean she should be afforded any special authority. She's just someone who was born with access to a nuclear arsenal.
I don't know, maybe we'll talk about this, but I was gonna say, like, the shared history is important, though, because you're also getting, like, a shared wisdom with it, right? Which you don't necessarily get if you're a king or a queen. But then I was going to say, oh, that's kind of interesting because the show takes that away, right? At the end of season 2, she loses her connection to like the past history. Or am I crazy? It was book 2, right? It would have to be, I think. Which is like it's an interesting play here where it's like, oh, does she then like lose all of the respect that she should have because of that? And maybe the show does actually account for that, like it mentions that, I just don't remember. But that would be an interesting thing. I wonder if he'll talk about that.
Of course, the obvious rebuttal to this is that the Avatar does not fit Zahir's first principle, that they are not under the constant potential threat of the loss of their freedom, and that the Avatar has no real potential to turn tyrannical. But there isn't much merit to this argument. While each Avatar has tried to do good in their world, their subjective perception of what good means has varied greatly. Avatar Kyoshi established the Dai Li as a means to protect the Earth Kingdom's cultural heritage, but however noble her intentions were, it was far from a good decision. They soon turned corrupt and began oppressing Earth Kingdom citizens. Roku's decision not to kill Fire Lord Sozin led to the deaths of possibly millions of people. Beyond this, Korra herself is clearly subject to her own biases. She is temperamental, impulsive, impatient, and prone to outbursts of anger in ways that Aang never was. Kyoshi expressed that she was perfectly willing to kill where she deemed it necessary.
But I assure you, I would have done whatever it took to stop Jen.
The truth is, there is no reason for anyone to believe that the Avatar will never interfere with the freedoms of others, purposefully or unpurposefully. Avatars are neither automatically wise or good leaders. Zahir's philosophy is based in the idea that nobody knows what is best for someone other than themselves. For this reason,
moronic president
and monarchs can never truly make decisions in the best interests of their citizens. If elected officials cannot, then the Avatar surely can't. They do not know what is in the best interest of every citizen of the world. Not only is their moral judgment fallible, but historically it's often wrong, and we've seen it has detrimental consequences. So what can we understand as Zahir to believe? I think this statement best encompasses everything that the Red Lotus stands for.
Where a man's only allegiance is to himself and those he loves.
A man cannot be free when firstly, he is under the potential threat of the loss of his freedoms, and secondly, they are indoctrinated by their culture into believing institutions of authority should have authority over them. The Avatar has become an institution of authority in itself, that people have been raised to believe they owe their allegiance to, when the reality is that Korra is just someone else with fallible judgment, her own biases, and essentially a nuclear arsenal to take out whoever she chooses. People around the world give her unearned authority because they think she's somehow naturally wiser or better than she is because she's the Avatar. Zahir's anarchist philosophy looks at this culture and simply asks, how is this right? Hey Subfuries, I really hope that you enjoyed kind of my first video essay type piece, and if you did...
His first video essay? Oh my god, he's like a big channel. How many years ago was this? 7 years ago.
Then please let me know down in the comments that you want me to do more.
So I was thinking, this feels like a bit of a, it feels like a much smaller channel video, in a good way, I guess. Like this was okay. This makes me want to make videos more, because I feel like sometimes I have videos like this where I'm like, oh, my point is like really simple, but I feel like I can make a good vibe out of a video like this, or make a video like this, you know. Anyway, Ari, please. This is Hello Future Me. That is true. I've never heard of this channel in my life. he is like the Avatar YouTuber.
So
that's kind of crazy. Unnecessary redemption arcs in the rise of character laundering. Interesting. YouTuber. He is just a Kiwi. He says things weird. I don't know. Maybe.
So
I feel like the Australian accent is pretty similar to the Kiwi one. We say Kiyoshi, right?
So your main character is a wizard. Let's call him...
But you know what? Maybe he like found some canonical way of pronouncing the name across multiple languages because he's like a massive Avatar fan or something. It's meant to be Kyoshi because of like the Latin root of the word or something. I have no idea. Anyway. I think the quote, "I'm the Avatar, you gotta deal with it," has a whole new meaning. True, let's take another joke line and extract meaning from it. We love it. Fire Lord Ozai has one redeeming quality. He was voiced by Mark Hamill. And also, he was a good fighter. That was another redeeming quality. We love good, strong fighters, don't we? We respect them. Okay. Anyway, what was actually recommended here? Kyle sent a bunch, I think? Oh boy. Why I love Mushoku Tensei. I guess it's been long enough. We can go back to watching Mushoku Tensei videos. 96 subscribers. I feel like I've watched this channel before. Okay, I definitely haven't. I don't know why I thought that. Unless I watch this, the ReZero video. I have no idea if this is good or not. I doubt that Kyle has seen this. Let's see.
Isekai formula multiple times. Ordinary guy gets... I know you've seen Isekai formula multiple times. Ordinary guy gets transported to a fantasy world, gets crazy powers, and immediately starts...
I've seen it a few times, not many times.
Being a hero, right? Mushoku Tensei is here to smash that standard with a main...
Okay, this is a Japanese show, so the mispronunciation's fine. We accept it. For the Avatar one, it's a bit weird because they're saying it in English. You're an English like listener. This one's like, you know, they never say Mushoku Tensei in the show. I can understand Mushoku Tensei or whatever. That's fine. I don't have an issue with this.
Here to smash that standard with a main character who, well, isn't a hero. In fact, he's a creepy, socially awkward 34-year-old shut-in who, after dying in the real world, gets a second shot at life as a baby. And yeah, it's just as awkward as it sounds. But here's the twist. This show makes you care about that guy in ways you never thought you would. Yeah, the guy who couldn't even make it to the grocery store without embarrassing himself. The guy who spent years in his room binge-watching anime...
Oh, guys, I had a giant, amazing, fantastic revelation. In Premiere, when you've got, like, audio recorded, like, as part of a video or whatever, you can right-click and then do, like, audio gain or something, and then you can normalize the audio within Premiere. So you'll never have videos like this that are way too quiet, because it automatically normalizes it, so, like, the peak will be at 0 decibels. It's amazing. It all the discussions going forward, I'm just going to do that. Because usually I have to manually, like, I go to YouTube and I click on an old discussion and I'm like, okay, how loud was this one? Let me compare it to the recent video in Premiere and make sure they're the same. I can just normalize it now. It's so much easier. Anyway.
And probably eating Cheetos while avoiding all...
Because that reminded me, because this is a very quiet video, so...
Interaction. Yes, that guy gets another shot at life and he's going to...
Did you know Mushoku Tensei references Shiki's power? I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like Mushoku Tensei references a million things that just goes right over my head. At least in the light novel. I don't know about the anime, but when Rudy gets his I thought it was a spoiler, future sight from Kishirika. Does Shiki have future sight? Am I crazy? I guess maybe he just references in that scene. I don't know. But okay, I'll have to go back and read it or watch it when I finish The Garden of Sinners.
But... try to do better. Except, of course, he's still a perv. To everyone in this new world, Rudius is just a slightly weird kid. To us, he's that guy that gets banned from every forum. But hey, second chances, right? So, to start things off, let's talk about Rudy's family, because it's one of the key reasons the show works so well. Mushoku Tensei doesn't just throw Rudy into a new world to make him the hero. It gives him a solid foundation of people to connect with and grow alongside. Rudius' family isn't your average, wholesome fantasy clan. His dad, Paul, is a womanizing ex-adventurer who's both badass and kind of a disaster. His mom, Zenith, is the epitome of kindness and healing magic. How she handles Paul, we'll never know. Oh, and remember that time Paul cheated? Yep, the Grey Rat household gets awkward when Lilia, their maid, has Paul's child, turning Rudius into the world's most confused older brother. Speaking of siblings, Rudius has two younger sisters, Norn, who doesn't exactly idolize him, and Aisha, the clever and capable one. Their relationships develop in heartfelt and sometimes tense dynamics, reminding us that family in the show is far from simple. The relationships Rudius forms throughout the series are what truly ground the story. Take Sylphie, for example, his first real friend, a green-haired elf who teaches him the value of kindness and acceptance.
She an elf? I guess she is. Technically, I guess. Kind of.
Their bond is pure and sweet. Well, until things start to get complicated later on. Then there's Roxy, Rudius' mentor in magic. She's not just a teacher. She's an anchor who inspires him to believe in himself. Her impact on his life goes beyond spells. She's the reason he even has the courage to face the world. Oh, and let's not forget Eris, a fiery noble who starts as an absolute nightmare, but gradually grows into one of the most compelling characters. Their chaotic relationship transforms from mutual frustration to a genuine bond, with both of them developing in ways that hit you right in the feels. If Mushoku Tensei were just about relationships, it'd still be great. But the world building, next level. This isn't just a backdrop for the characters to swing swords and cast spells. It's a living, breathing world with history, politics, and cultures that feel real. Let's start with geography. From the lush forests of the Millis continent to the harsh deserts of the Demon continent, every region has its own unique vibe and challenges. These places aren't just there to look cool. They actively shape the characters who live there. For example, the Demon continent is home to some of the toughest creatures, but it's also where Rudia spawns with Ruijerd, a relationship that changes how he views...
I mean, you know, we'll keep watching, but this is just like what I liked about Mushoku Tensei, which is, I guess, the title of the video. But
morality and honor. Then there are the races. Mushoku Tensei introduces us to elves, beastmen, demons, and humans, each with their own customs, struggles, and prejudices. The tension between these groups really makes the world feel alive. Take the demon race, for example. Often misunderstood and feared, they're given depth through characters like Ruijerd. It's not just about being good or evil, it's about understanding perspectives and breaking stereotypes. The magic system is another big win. It's not just about OP spells, it's deeply tied to the world's history. Rudius learns magic through study and practice, not just by shouting cool names from the day he's born. The way the series treats magic as both an art and a science adds a layer of realism that pulls you in. But the true heart of this world is how it evolves alongside the story. When a catastrophic event disrupts the lives of characters across the world, it doesn't just serve as a plot device, it reshapes the world itself. Entire cities are destroyed, families are separated, and political alliances shift. You feel the weight of these events because the world reacts to them in real time.
True, you could say they're a turning point. Oh my
Every
goodness.
NPC feels like they have a life of their own. Whether it's a traveling merchant, a guard at the city gates, or a random villager, their interactions with Rudius remind you that they're not just filler. They're part of a world that keeps spinning, whether or not the protagonist is involved. What makes Mushoku Tensei stand out is how deeply it connects with fans on an emotional level. It's not just another fantasy anime with flashy magic and epic battles. It's a story that really sticks with you long after watching. Rudius' journey isn't about becoming an all-powerful hero. It's about struggling with his flaws, learning from his mistakes, and finding meaning in the relationship he builds. The bonds he forms, whether with his family, friends, or mentors, feel real because the show takes its time to develop them. You see, characters grow, change, and even stumble, which makes their victories and heartaches resonate. Unlike many fantasy anime, where world events are just backdrops for action, here, the relationships are the emotional anchor. Fans don't just watch the story unfold, they feel like they're living it alongside Rudius. What sets this anime apart is the human touch. It doesn't just shy away from showing pain, regret, and imperfection. Every moment of joy, every lesson learned, and every bittersweet goodbye feels raw and earned. That's why it remains in the hearts of fans for such a long time. It's not just a fantasy world, it's a reflection of life's struggles and small victories. Well, that's going to be it for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If so, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment any ideas you might have for future videos down below. See you next time. Bye.
True. I mean, that was just a basic review, I guess. I don't know. Cool, we love small channels making videos. That's great. I guess if this was like was a second video or something? Not bad for a second video, I have to say. You know, it was pretty good. Like, as in terms of like the production side of it or whatever. But I don't have a single thing to say. Oh my god, we got Leonardo. Oh wait, is it Leonard or Leonardo? I don't know. Leonard 03 here. Crazy. I wonder, there's like, it is funny. There is like a group of people who I will see across all the small channels that do Mushoku Tensei content. They'll be in their comment sections, including me, including the Rat's Nest or whatever it was called, including, I guess, bigger channels like Autosave. It is funny, and this is definitely one of them. Is there anyone else I recognize? Maybe. Why I love Jobless Reincarnation said no one ever. So true. Just like my dress up darling people, one way or another, seem to feel very strongly about this anime, which tells me I should see it. I've never heard strong feelings about my dress up darling. The only thing I know is that Yukimura likes it or something, the author of Vinland Saga, which was like a crazy, like, out of all the anime out there, it's an interesting one that he likes. Or maybe it was a manga, I don't know. A lot of people hate on Rudy for one reason that they don't even understand. Rudius isn't that pervy, he is just normal. I don't know about that. I think it's pretty pervy. Like typical human. He's not Belle, I don't know who this is, Belle Cronell, or other purest hero in existence. He is just human. In his previous life, he is not a loser. What is this? He's a victim? Oh, I guess, yeah, he's a victim, but he's also a loser. And in his next life, he wants to live the fullest so that he can, doing stuff that he is scared before. Okay, crazy. That's lovely. This Mushoku Tensei video has to be AI written. I don't know. I mean, I could imagine it being AI written, but I could also imagine this just being like someone's thoughts about an experience they had watching something. Take, for example, You don't like that? I think that's a very clear way of saying things. Take, for example. We love examples here. We hate when people don't use examples to prove their point. So we encourage that here. All right. What other videos were there? Let's be a bit more selective now, since we want to get ones we can actually react to. The scene that changed Game of Thrones forever? This looks incredibly boring. Which one is it? Oh, is this the Cersei one? What is this one? 42 minutes. Savika's unfaltering loyalty and arcane character analysis. We're not going to watch that, but we might watch a bit of it.
Have people ever accused...
The state of anime discussion. This was the channel that did that really bad Madoka review, right?
Books?
Yeah, okay. I'm sure this is going to be insightful. In admiration of well-written fight scenes. These are all boring. Why are you sending me boring videos, Kyle? My goodness. This one feels like it's going to be the most boring. They're going to say, man, this scene was so good because it like wasn't in the books and like it just added so much to their relationship. Maybe it'll say something interesting. Let's see. You never know.
And arse licking and money grubbing. Sometimes I don't know what holds it together.
One strong kingdom.
Our marriage.
Game of Thrones is packed with amazing scenes you've probably seen analyzed.
Oh, maybe it's not going to be that scene. Oh my god.
More than once.
Yes, it is.
But if there's one that blows my mind every time I watch, it's this one, a quiet scene from season 1. No dragons, no battles, no shocking deaths, just Robert and Cersei sitting in a small room and talking.
I suppose this is where you tell me to give the job to your brother, Jamie.
In many ways, this scene is an absolute masterpiece, not only for its character development, but also for its amazing storytelling, managing to condense almost 2 decades of history into just 7 minutes of dialogue. But what's even more fascinating is that it wasn't actually written by George Martin himself.
No way.
Instead, it came from David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, the same writers who got tons of hate for the show's ending. I mean, sure, I'll talk about all those things that make this scene a masterpiece in detail, but first we need some context. This conversation takes place right after Ned Stark resigns as Hand of the King following Robert's decision to have the pregnant Daenerys Targaryen killed.
The whore is pregnant.
On the surface, Westeros may seem stable, but its foundations are starting to crumble. Cersei fears that Robert will discover the truth, that Jaime is the real father of her children. At the same time, Ned Stark inches closer to this revelation with each passing day. On top of that, there's the looming threat of a Dothraki invasion hanging over the kingdom. And the scene begins with this political tension, but it quickly shifts to something much more personal, and by the end, we come to realize that neither Robert nor Cersei is exactly who they appear to be. First of all, what's truly fascinating about Robert in this scene is how it shows he's way more perceptive than people give him credit for. I mean, yes, on the surface he comes across as this man who drowns himself in women and wine, someone who never got over losing his true love, which I think that idea itself is a delusion. But when it came
Oh, I'm sure it's a good video, but it's so boring. My goodness, I don't care about Game of Thrones. Which scene should I cover next? Well, let's see, which one did he cover next? Oh no, I guess this is his most recent video. Crazy. Again, another video I'm not interested in. Savika, I don't care, but let's see.
To understand Savika's loyalty is to understand Zorn's inequality. Life as a Zornite is anything but fair or easy. Zorn is a deprived undercity, and its people bear the wrath of its opposing, profiteering city, Piltover. Arcane starts as a series depicting an oppressive state dictating the livelihoods of others who are unfortunate enough to be born on the wrong side of a bridge. The tension between Piltover and Zorn is not a conflict. Conflict suggests equal footing, and even to the bitter end, Zorn comes out belittled by the oppressors they help, with only a small sign of change and no solidified resolution. The common enemy trope held no real promise of a solution. Arcane's centrist ending and abandonment of its political story shows little impact to a narrative that constantly displayed Piltover as a persistent, active oppressor. Piltover had legislative power over Zorn. The government responsible for both cities contained only Piltovans, with an exception of one wealthy Noxian, and no Zornites in sight.
What about Jace? Wasn't he on the council?
The councillors bore classist decision-making over an entire city who had no say in the matter. Zornites were purposefully given no voice, and yet the screams caused by death, wailing from the enforcers' brutality, and battle cries of uprising fell on deaf ears. So before I dive into why Savika was headstrong in her desire for Piltover's downfall and the freedom of her people, let me paint you a picture of what Zornites went through all this time. Zornites are victims of chemical warfare. Caitlin, Vi, and other enforcers used the Grey as a weapon to harm and capture the Kimbarons running amok. While specifically targeted, the Grey is still gas. The likelihood of it spreading to innocents isn't zero. Through Victor alone, we know the consequences of long-term exposure. Shortened exposure, however, deals with milder results as seen through Silco's usage. Yet length of time is still null to the fact that it was still used by Caitlin, whose tunnel vision of succumbed rage and vengeance believed the Kimbarons were explicitly the targets and sufferers. But even so, whilst the Kimbarons were criminals, they only behaved as such due to a life of inhumane discrimination under an oppressive regime. No person, even the Kimbarons, deserved the unethical treatment of chemical warfare. Zornites are at a greater risk of acquiring a disability. Many cast members...
Okay. True, they're suffering. The issue of Piltover's regime. Okay, sponsorship. How Zornites fight back. Savika's loyalty. Okay. I'm sure this is a good video. Not for me. The state of anime discussion. All right. We're getting toward the end of this stream, I think. Oh boy. Okay.
Accused you of being abusive, stupid, embarrassing. Have people ever accused you of being abusive, stupid, embarrassing, racist, and brain dead because of an opinion you had? Okay, did your opinion also have to do with Little Magic Girls? Mine was one of those. There's an anime called Madoka Magic.
Oh my god, he's talking to me. Okay, let me think. So in fairness, I think I only watched his video through Kyle Entertainment, and I think I might have missed part of it. So it's not a fair thing that I had a strong opinion on his video. And maybe I only watched a little bit. I truly don't remember. But I think the issue was that it was very much, he was colored by his watching experience with his friends. And he couldn't take it seriously because of his friends. And that bothered me. But I guess we'll see.
And it's just the greatest piece of shit. Oh, sorry, in my opinion, guys, I made a video recently where I outlined the entire plot and identified things that really bothered me. There's real critique, but this isn't a super serious video. I thought, okay, this is a fun little project. I think everyone will imagine disliking something that every intelligent person likes.
True.
You fell off and are unfunny. You are gay! Wait, no, gay is good. Gay is good. Anime's gotta be the only niche I know of that treats liking or disliking something as important news. Make the Stallion revealed her favorite anime of 2023.
That's just every piece of media ever, right?
23, and that's interesting. Make it cool as hell. It's not 20 million views and 12,000 quote tweets interesting. My hero over JJK, no wonder she got shot. She lost her damn mind. I think it's somewhat improbable that Tory Lanez shot Meg the Stallion because she likes My Hero Academia. But more than one person had this thought. It doesn't even have to be a celebrity. A peer of mine called The Masked Man released a video where he's very candid with his opinion on Ashita no Joe. So candid, you can see his feelings on the thumbnail. This image blew up on Twitter. They're calling him an elitist. They're saying no one will ever respect him again. He's done. And Masked Man is an idiot.
He whipped out his wood and then he said I was incredible. How many nuts were fired? I don't know, but I like testicles.
Just not for disliking a manga. Anime discourse has something wrong with it. You've noticed, I've noticed, but there's no agreement on what specifically.
This is every discourse about everything, right? Like, what doesn't have this apply to it?
Gets to even be a part of the conversation is contentious in itself. Some people think gatekeeping is essential. Normal people think of the outdoors, and the only thing we can agree on is that no one agrees. This video exists not really to solve anything. I'm not arrogant enough to believe that I have the answers, or am even on the right side of the discussion, but I think that what happened to me is the funniest and most absurd reaction to anything I've ever made. The last few years in anime have been crazy, and over time I've had so many thoughts regarding online discussion. What better time than now to use my situation as a springboard to absolutely fucking yap about gatekeeping, elitists, my allegations, and most importantly, if you haven't seen my last video, this is the world's fastest summary of Madoka Magica. In a fucked up world that I've been told is not Europe, lives a girl named Madoka Kaname. Notice the beer keg above her shoulders? I've also been told that's her head. She's shopping. It's Christmas evening. A blanket of food covers the table, the aroma tunnels through your nostrils, and you excitedly take a bite of your grandma's famous ham. You can see it in her eye.
Okay. Wait, all we have to do is get another 40 minutes video out of Scam was yell at him? Okay. Okay. Final video. In admiration of well-written fight scenes. Okay, I'm sure this one will be good.
Hey guys, there are a lot of small action scenes that I've really come to admire from over the years. Lord Shen versus the Masters is my favorite moment in all of Kung Fu Panda. Cap and Bucky versus Iron Man is a phenomenal send-off to Civil War. Azula versus Zuko is up there too, but I've made a whole video about that, so you know that already. And of course, we could not forget Henry Cavill cocking his fists in Mission Impossible. But if there is a short scene of action that lives rent-free in my head that I revisit at least once a month, it's Dumbledore versus Voldemort. Now, keep in mind, I'm not even like that big of a Harry Potter fan. Neither the books or the movies ever like truly captured me aside from the Goblet of Fire, because there's a
Arcane videos in 2025 sleep. True. Until I make one, and then it's gonna be great. Okay. Tinkle Hoy, Tinkle Hoy. What is that like a Pokemon reference or something? I have no idea what that means, but yeah, hello.
dragon in it, but this fight scene is incredible. For those of you who are new,
God, it's so cool. You have wands and stuff, and they're doing magic, and oh my god, it's not just like two wands hitting each other, even though that's literally what's happening here. It's like more complicated because it's like fire and stuff, and Voldemort summons turns Dumbledore's something into a snake. I don't know.
I'm Alex, a professional novel and script editor, and a ton of my clients write stories including action sequences, both big and small. But a lot of my clients will find that they have trouble writing fight scenes, and they will be confused because they will be inspired by something like Voldemort versus Dumbledore, yet can't execute something similar in their own work. And that mainly comes from the fact that fight scenes, even short ones, are complicated and require their own writing sub-skill set. I'll be honest. All
right, now the real question is, what's the greatest fight scene of all time, like, actually? I'm sure there's like really obvious answers out there, but what comes to mind? The greatest fight scenes of all time. Immediately, let's think. Oh no, nothing is coming to mind. Oh my god. I I'm sure there'd be like some My Hero Academia fights. Some Mob Psycho fights. I have no idea. Greatest fight scenes of all time. Oh, they'll all be movie things I don't care about. I want anime ones. Let's see. It's probably some John Wick one. I don't know. What's like I can't think of a single good fight scene right now. My anime list. Let's see. We're gonna get some correct answers. Oh my god, what am I thinking? Rudy versus Orsted. Oh my god. Oh, I guess like Dead End versus Orsted. Amazing. Great fight. Oh. Meruem versus Netero. Oh my goodness. There's probably some really good ones in. I guess maybe I was going to say the end of Rebellion, that fight, but that's a different kind of thing, you know. Is there, what's like the best funny Mob Psycho? Probably Dimple versus I don't even remember, Psycho Helmet. But that's not, it's like the greatest ever, but it was really cool. I feel like the final fight in Samurai Champ Blue, I remember being like, this is like the coolest thing I've seen in my life. But I don't remember it enough to confidently rank it high. See, Revolutionary Girl Utena has a fight at the end of every episode, but they're usually pretty bad. Nothing in DBZ. Although the final fight against Kid Buu is kind of cool, but it's obviously spanned against, it goes a long time. Gurren Lagann's final fight is pretty sick. Like the final part of the final fight where like the thing getting broken down and broken down and broken down. Like that stuff is really cool. What else? JoJo's. Does JoJo's have a cool fight? Like one that stands out? Maybe. Nothing immediately coming to mind. Attack on Titan has, I mean, I guess the Beast Titan. Yeah, we'll put that on here. Levi versus the Beast Titan. That was pretty cool. And maybe like Levi getting chased, but also I think the Beast Titan one is like way cooler than that. One Punch Man, obviously. Genos versus Saitama. And even like Saitama versus Boros. Oh, and then obviously if we're including manga, then like, I mean, there's so many, but like, I don't even know what you call it, but Garo versus Saitama, like that whole final stretch was amazing. And then maybe like, no, I don't know. I was going to say something else, but no, we're not going to include that. Erased, no. My Hero has like a bunch of cool ones. What's like the coolest My Hero fight? The Overhaul fight was cool. I guess, I don't know. I'm thinking of all, the ones that come to mind are all like really cool animation stuff. Not necessarily like the fighting itself. Like Deku versus Bakugo, like in season 3, that was really cool. Vinland Saga, actually, surprisingly, I wouldn't say it's like greatest of all time, but it has some cool fights, like Snake versus Thorfinn. That was really cool. Even like Thorkel versus Thorfinn was really cool. Kaguya-sama, Mushoku Tensei we've already done. I'm sure there's a few in Mushoku Tensei, honestly. We could probably name a few. I know a lot of people like the Hydra fight. That was like, I thought it was really good, but I didn't think it was like best of all time or anything. Chainsaw Man. The manga has some really cool ones. Does the anime yet? Not really, not fighting wise, I don't think. Oh, I guess the Leech Devil, but that was more like the animation was really cool. Not Cowboy Bebop. Actually, the one from the movie was really cool. I like that fight. One Piece. Nothing. JJK almost certainly has like a few. Like the bathroom fight in JJK. Oh my god, so cool. I mean, there's so many. Like even just like basically every fight in not Mushoku Tensei, in JJK season 2, like Toji versus Megumi, I don't remember. Sukuna versus Jogo, is that his name? Oh my god, Toto slash, oh my god, I'm just not remembering any of the names. Itadori Yuji versus Mahito. Oh my god, just basically every fight in JJK Season 2 was amazing. Sukuna versus Mahoraga. But this is all because of animation and stuff. But there was also cool fighting stuff. Anyway, who cares about this? We're gonna get a list here of amazing fights. Hello, Gustav. Hello, Gustav. I guess maybe. I thought of Shifu versus Tai Lung in Kung Fu Panda 1. Haven't seen it, but I think they referenced that at the beginning of the video, right? Versus Tai Lung. I have not seen this movie, but cool, cool. I can't really think of any anime ones that really stand out. Well, boy, do I have a list for you. So there you go. Shangri-La Frontier has some sick fights. Shangri-La Frontier. Is that an anime? Oh, it is. Oh, yeah, I think this was when Kyle was trying to figure out an anime and someone listed this, right? Interesting. Freerun had... No, well, Freerun had that one dragon fight at the beginning, but that was more animation than, like, cool fight stuff going on. JJK Season 2, Episode 13 was good. Let's have a look. Which one was that? Is that Thunderclap? Which one is this? Oh, yeah, that's Season 1. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, the bathroom fight. Hell yeah, we loved the bathroom fight. It was sick. Oh, my goodness. And remember this at the end? Oh, my goodness. When they did, like, a different art style and stuff. Oh, I guess the same art style, but different, like, filters or whatever. Strongest Disciple Kenichi has one of the best fights out there. Strongest Disciple Kenichi. Another thing I've never heard of. Kind of cool. Looks cool. Looks old. Did you see the recent news with the One Punch Man manga? The only thing I heard is that it's getting redrawn a bunch. And then there was like a Tatsumaki fan service cover and everyone was like, oh, it's all worth it. Yeah, thank God. That's the only thing I heard about it. Saitama versus Ouroboros. Who is that? Is that the Monster King? Why don't I remember this? Or is this more recent stuff that I just haven't caught yet? Oh, Ouroboros? Oh, is that just like Boris's special thing or something? Or maybe you just typed Boros wrong? Or maybe I spelt it wrong? I don't know. Crazy. When Saitama Punch opens the sky. Oh, I guess that was what you were talking about. Ishura final fight of Season 1. Ishura anime. Yet another anime I've never heard of. I just don't know any of these old anime, okay? I'm more of a... Oh, no, it's a new anime. Wait, what? Ay, ay, ay. 2024. Holy. It's a light novel as well. You haven't seen Kung Fu Panda? It was my whole childhood. No. I'm just too old, you know? It was after my time. When did the first one come out? Kung Fu? Ay, ay, ay. 2008? I was just a fully grown adult by that point. I wouldn't watch a children's movie, Lord. Demon Slayer Tanjiro versus the String Demon from Season 1? That was okay. I remember thinking it was okay. I did like the fight at the end of the Mugen Train movie. That was really cool. Obviously, Avatar and Korra, they have a bunch of cool fights, but they're not anime. Oh my goodness. It's really funny. Just imagine if Fujimoto said he was unsatisfied with the last 1.5 years of Chainsaw Man and decided to go back to the Falling Devil or something. I mean, that is true. That would be fantastic. But that's Murata does this all the time, right? I remember when I was reading through, I was just so confused because I would read a chapter or like a chunk of chapters, and then I'd like keep reading. And it would like send me back in time with like a slightly different like story. And I was like, what is going on here? And it took me a while to figure out that like he just like redraws and like redoes the story randomly. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. But yeah, it's a thing that One Punch Man does, which I haven't seen anything else do, but good for him, I guess.
The whole reason I'm making this video is because I went down a fight scene rabbit hole on YouTube and kind of just want to geek out about it for a little bit, but I do feel that this time can also be used to learn about what goes into writing fight scenes and the fight scenes that we love, both on the page and on the screen. And to start off, let's jump into something that doesn't technically appear on the screen: music. Music can be incredibly powerful, and the amount of effort that goes into its composition can be astounding. For those of you who know the show Succession, listen to how the composer Nicholas Bortel...
I don't know the show Succession, but also the best fight in in Avatar or Korra? What is it? There's so many. Like the final season or book 3 fight with like the Red Lotus versus Korra. Like that was really cool. Like, well, I guess Zahir chasing Korra, like that was really cool. Or Korra chasing Zahir, I guess. Even the fight, like even the other part of that fight where like Su Yin and Lin, is that her name? Lin Beifong, are fighting the other what's her name? Oh my god, am I gonna remember these names? Oh my god. What is her name? Pli or whatever, and they like put the helmet on her head and the armor on her head and like blow her up. Oh my goodness. Like the Kuvira fight where she's like restraining all those people on the train, like who are trying to hijack the train or whatever. God, there's so many cool fights in Avatar. Obviously obviously this one that they're showing, and the basically any fight involving Toph, like Toph versus all the wrestlers and whatever, all the competitors of that thing. That was really cool.
Meticulously intermingles music and narrative.
I'm constantly
even like Toph versus Korra in like the Legend of Korra. That was sick.
winding in these notes that aren't part of the scale just to kind of like jolt the music in a different direction. So you see how things are always kind of off kilter with themselves, like the family in the show.
These considerations of music are even more important when we merge them with scenes of action. Just listen to how the music completely synchronizes and deepens this moment from Game of Thrones. Or how music turns this scene into one of the most epic showdowns in all of recent anime. Or how
recent animes are like 10 years old.
Death
Oh my
becomes
god.
elevated and perfectly somber through the use of thematic music. Music is just as much a part of storytelling as the plot and characters. It speaks to you and uniquely guides each one of us through our own individual feelings of a scene. Music elevates visuals and experiences into something greater, something beyond just the physical sights.
Oh my god, what a cool scene.
But in the same way, a lack of music can be just as powerful because it grounds you in the harsh reality of the here and now. Take a look at this musicless scene from Annihilation. It's absolute.
I don't remember this scene at all. Oh my goodness.
Terrifying because there is nothing to distract us.
Maybe I need to rewatch this scene.
The horror that we are seeing. The same thing actually
I mean, this movie, Jesus.
Here in what I consider to be the best fight scene Henry Cavill has ever been a part of in The Witcher. Geralt has been really trying to avoid violence this entire episode, but now that he has no other choice, we are forced to uncomfortably sit in it. Or how about Combustion Man's entrance? The gang was asleep. They are confused. They are disoriented. And we of the audience have no idea who this man is or what he's capable of. The only music is that of the fight itself, the popping of bursting flames, and the sound of frantic bending. And that absence of music is what I really appreciate about Dumbledore versus Voldemort. Nothing else is present to distract us. Their fight is the focus. This lack of music is a narrative technique. It works to ground over-the-top magic into something that actually feels gritty and visceral and almost real. Not to mention that the sound effects and Foley are beautiful and rhythmic. Of course, the allure of so many fight scenes is the actual content of the action, but all that action really only gains weight from what has come before it. Don't get me wrong, scenes of action can be awesome without having build-up. I still think about how great the Dark Knight's opening is, but those types of scenes are almost exceptions that prove the rule. The best scenes of action are those that we are invested in because of previous storytelling choices. It's
oh my god, we got some more examples here. Darker Than Black Season 2. Story is bad, but the fights were good, especially with the magical magician at the dock. Wait, Darker Than Black. 2007, okay. At least this one's old, so it's okay that I haven't heard about it. And then Gundam 00 fight. Final fight versus Reborn's Gundam. I've never seen a Gundam thing, but very cool. We love that. Kuvira versus Lin's sister. That was true. Yeah, that is a good fight. Yeah, and Toph walks into the end. He's like, yeah, you give metal benders a bad name. We love it. Captain Earth anime sucked, but the final fight was really... Wait, Captain Earth? Is that the one with the... No, Captain Planet is what I'm thinking of. Never heard of Captain Earth. Yet another one. My goodness. Or Doctor Strange versus Thanos in Infinity War. That is true. You know what? That's probably the closest example to like... I wonder if it was inspired by this like Dumbledore versus Voldemort scene, because it feels pretty similar to that actually. I wonder if he'll mention that in this actually. That's really similar. I thought that final fight was really cool and underappreciated. True.
Thanos coming onto the scene after being teased for so many years and beating the piss out of Hulk. It's Tai Lung being talked about like the boogeyman and then actually being the boogeyman. And so this should make a lot of sense when we're talking about freaking Voldemort and Dumbledore. These were, and to many still are, the titans of middle grade to young adult fantasy fiction. Voldemort is the modern day Darth Vader. We got the tiniest tease of Voldemort's power in The Goblet of Fire, and Dumbledore is the headmaster of Hogwarts and is regarded as one of the most powerful wizards in all of the world. This battle was 4 movies in the making. The link between these two master wizards had been laid out for years, and now we get to see them clash. This is a crystal clear execution for you writers out there, that if you want your fight scenes to hit, you have to make us anticipate and crave them beforehand. But most importantly, and I cannot stress this enough, your fight scenes must tell a story. For so many writers that I've worked with, fight scenes became just spectacle, and while there is certainly a value to the rule of cool, fight scenes really are supposed to be telling their own story and service to the greater narrative. And that is what Voldemort versus Dumbledore does amazingly. Fights are awesome because they are visual storytelling. You know, show, don't tell? Well, that is the essence of a well-made fight scene. However, I like to say, demonstrate, don't describe. Voldemort versus Dumbledore doesn't need a long explanation in between each move. The story is clear through action. Fight scenes should be the crystallization of characters, where they become most evident of who they are. We see all of Voldemort's evil and maliciousness on display just from his magic. He uses fire, darkness itself, bends the environment to become his weapons. He is vicious and relentless and sadistic.
Doesn't Dumbledore do that too, you know, when he tries to drown Voldemort in water?
And then his foil, his opposite, is Dumbledore.
Wait, is water good and fire is bad?
Where Voldemort uses fire, he uses water. Where Voldemort
he tries to drown him.
Attacks, he defends. And what's more, it's not just the characters being advanced here, but the world as well. Conflict between powerhouses in fiction become exciting for us because we get to see the magic system of the setting pushed to its limits. We spent hours and hours of movie watching students and mentees from before use magic with wands and verbal spells, and the spells that we have seen for those 4 movies are cool, but relatively mundane. But here, it's because we've been so accustomed to such minor magic that this scene is so astounding. Dumbledore and Voldemort are like little gods here, and all Harry and the Death Eaters can do is watch. And just as quickly as it begins, it's over. It's so quick in fact, and so enthralling that it actually leaves us wanting more, which is the function of any scene worth its salt. If you want to write scenes like this for yourself, make sure to check out the link below for my website for coaching services and editing services. Make sure
to
okay. Like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like the video,
this is gonna be Bacon one day with all his Patreon. Oh, I guess all his YouTube members. He doesn't have a Patreon, but
check out my second channel too. I'm uploading content there all the time. As always, it was a pleasure, and I'll talk to you all again soon.
I don't think he will, because you know what, that was good. Well, it was fun to kind of see a bunch of fight scenes. I don't know if it was anything particularly insightful, but not all videos have to be. You know, not all of mine are. Hardly any of mine are. Let's see. Older men on the sky. Oh. When the sword kills an entire military squad. Again, believe it or not, another anime I've never heard of. We can just assume every anime now I'm going to type. So Failure Frame, Final Fight is top tier. Okay, cool. Another one I haven't heard of course. Solo Leveling. Now that's an anime that I've heard of. Solo Leveling Season 1 fight was awesome. Cool. Oh, is that what this character's from? I've seen this, whatever this is, on like Twitter or something, but I didn't know it was from this. Solo Leveling. Thor versus Hulk in Thor Ragnarok was a little cool. I don't remember it enough, but I'll take your word for it. I do remember thinking it was cool how Hulk was in a Thor movie. That was the coolest part of it. Anyway, you know what doesn't have any good fights? Black Lagoon. Okay, except for the final OVA season. That had some cool fights, but the first 2 seasons, my goodness, not a single good fight in that show. Cager. Now, Cager has a bunch of really cool fights. Dororo had like one cool action scene, which was when this old man came in with a sword and like slashed a bunch of cool times. It was cool animation. That was a cool fight. And then when something happens, a tragedy happens in Dororo, and like Dororo gets mad and he like does a really cool fight thing. That was a cool fight too. Sentence of a Bookworm, no cool fights, but there is one action scene. Gunbuster, no cool fights. Spy Family has the tennis match. Coolest fight ever. Alright, anyway. This is the end of this stream, guys. My goodness, it's so hot in my room. You know how hot it is? It's actually not that hot. Oh, well, it's getting there. 20... Here we go. 28.9. Oh, no, it's not. It's flipped. It's flipped, guys. It's flipped. 28.9. So yeah, thank you for coming. Okay. The stream, maybe I'll stream tomorrow. Probably not. You never know. Is tomorrow Chainsaw Man? No, that's Wednesday, right? Saint Seiya Hades Arc. Okay, also never heard of this. This looks really old. When did this come out? 2002. Not that old, I guess. Radhamantis versus... Oh, it's from that. Okay. Cool. Alright, anyway. See you next time. Bye.